Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, the other day I was speaking on the Bhagavad Gita and I was making the point that we throw things under the category of being mystical merely because we don't understand it. Similarly, as Maharaj is pointing out, the scientists talk about by chance and, random. It's because they don't understand why. It's just a misnomer. Because I don't understand, and we say, oh, this thing happened by chance, or we can't actually pinpoint our finger on the exact cause. So then it's very easy to escape by saying, yeah, things just happen by chance, or that's the way that it works, or we don't know yet, we'll find out later. But we can hear directly from Lord Krishna, and then we can understand. But we might not be so easy to accept. It sounds nice, okay, Krishna entered into all the planets, but still we go out and we look at the planets and we think, it seems like whether Krishna's there or not, they're floating and doing their thing, they're all right. But everything that's existing is only existing because of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the beginning of the Brahma Samhita, you know the Brahma Samhita? Heard of it at least? No. In the morning, when we greet the deities after japa, sing this Govindam Adi Purusham. There's a long series of prayers. It was by Lord Brahma. And the beginning, the very first one, it says, Ishvara Padma Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Nadir Adya Govinda Sarva Kardana Kardanam. Sarva means all, and Karda means cause, like the cause of all causes. So Ishvara Padma Krishna. Ishvara means controller, Padma means great. So the supreme controller is Krishna, the cause of all causes. He also says that his form is, manifest as Satchidananda. But the point is that if we trace anything back deep enough, the cause ultimately is Krishna. And it's interesting because I had some friends that I would speak to and they couldn't conceive of the idea of God, but they could conceive of nature. Nature, like, oh, nature is so cool, nature is so mind-blowing, because you're perceiving that there's something much deeper than what we can really understand. There's an intricate force. But what is that nature exactly? Like what, if you had to write a book, what is nature? I don't know. But when we hear from the Shastra, we understand that nature is a very multifaceted thing, which is just different variations of Krishna's energy that's working and orchestrating things in this material world. And this is why we have so many patterns within the world around us. So to say merely things happen by chance, when does anything ever happen by chance? Only because we don't understand why it's happening. So according to the scriptures, nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason. You perform some activity, whether pious or impious, and that warrants a reaction. So you've been given a very beautiful body. You get attention from the opposite sex, or whatever it may be. It's only because your karma in your previous life. And then we buy into this because we don't know anything better, and then we use up that past karma, and then through our future activities we're creating more karma. It's like being stuck in a spider web. We're trying to free ourselves, but we just get more entangled. You cut a few strands here, but you have to reach, so then your leg gets more caught. You're just fighting and fighting and fighting. So the whole point is to understand that the deeper essence of life, that there is Nothing is without reason. Everything has a cause. Everything has an underlying, principle. A motive. I mean, I don't talk about this much, but it seems the modern belief, or the most common belief in science is, okay, where did we originate? Which is a very deep idea, because most people can't even really think that deep. Okay, where did the world come from? Most people can't think outside of their little bubble, their house, their family, And if they do, it's like for a blip of a second. But for somebody who's really thinking deeply, it's like, okay, what can I observe around me? I see this nature that I mentioned. And I see people, the earth, and at nighttime you can see the stars. You realize that we're not alone. This is a huge universe. We're just on this little rock in the midst of the rest of the universe. But where did the whole universe come from? Like, what created it? How did it manifest? Where's the beginning? It's a very, very deep thought, and the common thought is, okay, the Big Bang, things, now you have a universe with like working order and everything just some moment in time that's due to chance and random and merely just completely, chaotic random creates everything that is like perfectly in order. And science is imperfect as we know it. But what are they doing? They're discovering all these laws of the material world. Physics, mathematics, all these different things. So it's like the whole basis of studying is seeing that there's order and not chaos. But how can something come from nothing? You can try in millions of years and whatever way you could think of, and something will never come from nothing. You have this object and this, and you mix it, and then you get this. It's not that something manifests from nothing. So even if the Big Bang was true, what caused the Big Bang? What produced that? How? So this is why the Shastra is important. It takes us beyond that, beyond this material world, beyond our mental speculation, and gives us a vision of reality. Because this material world, it manifests and it expands and then it shrinks and it's destroyed. And over and over and over. So if we really realize that okay, according to the Bhagavad Gita, right, I'm not my body, I think I'm my body, but then I die and I take birth in a new body, and then I also think I'm that body, and then that goes on forever until, the whole universe is destroyed and then created again, and then, it goes on and on and on. So it's all cyclic. So how could we become attached? We should always view that we're in this world, as like a tourist, a visitor. That's all. I've been fortunate to do a little bit of traveling. A month here, a month there, a few months there. And it's interesting because you can go to places even that you're very familiar with and you have strong connections with, but once you leave for a sizable amount of time, when you come, you're there, but you're not like plugged into that world of all the problems and everything that comes with it. You can observe it with a better perspective. So similarly, this is our position in the material world. We're only a visitor, we're only passing through. But because we're stuck in that little world that we've conceived of in our mind, then we become attached to certain aspects, and then we see all the problems and we get hung up. But if we merely see that, we don't belong here, we can't stay here. Everything's transient. It's always going to be destroyed, rebuilt, destroyed, and rebuilt. And getting attached to anything is futile. But if you always maintain that vision that, okay, I'm just here visiting, so let me do my duty and enjoy serving Krishna. Really, this is what life is about. We bring pleasure to the senses of Krishna, and then naturally we become purified, we become uplifted. And we might go through struggles or happy times or whatever, we continue on in our service, but ultimately it's purposeful. We just read in this beginning of the 16th chapter, it's really nice, Krishna, he describes all the divine qualities. And one of them, Krishna said, steady determination. There's a verse earlier in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, I always forget the last line, so let's see if I'll find it real quick. Vyavisyatmaka buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha hyanantascha. Yes. Buddhayo vyavasayina means that one who's on this path of God realization, Ekeha Kurunanda, Ekeha, one-pointed. The knowledge is one-pointed, focused with determination that this is life's goal and this is what I should be doing. And those who are engrossed by the distractions of the world, then Bahushakha Yanantascha means their knowledge is many-branched. They're attracted by this, by this, by that, by this, by this. So, this is what we're trying to cultivate as devotees. Ekeha, one-pointed. Also in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami, he's speaking to these sages, he says, Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan sattvatam matihi shrotavya kirtitavyascha deya pujas nityada. It says, Tasmad ekena manasa, with one-pointed attention of mind. Bhagavan sattvatam matihi, the Supreme Lord who is the protector of the devotees. Deya puja I forget the third line, the fourth line, which I just said. But anyways, one worships, one meditates, and remembers the Supreme Lord constantly. Nityara, eternally, constantly, always. So one who realizes sambandha means life's ultimate goal. When we really understand that, then there's one course of action. To give everything to that. And there's a few reasons why we might not be able to give everything. Firstly, we might not fully understand what's actually life's goal. We come to the temple or we meet devotees and okay, the first day, okay, here's Krishna, Krishna's God, surrender to him and you'll be happy, but we take it right away. It usually takes some more time and practice. So my point is that wherever we're at, it seems like we think we know more than we do, or we're more stable than we are. And then as time goes by, you realize how unstable you were. So, my point is, look back where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, in your case, 2 weeks ago, and think about how much you knew and how much you know now. And, I look back on the past, and in the past I thought I knew everything. But now I look back and I'm like, oh, I knew absolutely nothing. Like, nothing. So, if we can always maintain that mentality of, I don't know anything, but I want to know, and direct that towards Krishna, then Krishna is ready to shower us with so much mercy, so much blessings. But we hold on to this pride. Let's see, I flipped the pages here. I'm kind of rambling. I want to talk about some of these texts we read. The end of the 15th chapter is really nice. But let's see here. I want to find something. Yes, so in the beginning of chapter 16, which we just read, Krishna describes in these 3 shlokas the divine qualities. And then in text 4, he describes the demonic qualities. It says arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature. So that's my point, is that the more we're open for Krishna to give us mercy and blessings and knowledge and service, then Krishna will bring it. But we can't see how much we actually have arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. So this is the purification, revealing all these things within our heart. Lord Chaitanya in the Shikshashtakam, the beginning of it starts off saying, anybody? Chaitodarpana marjanam. This means, marjana means cleansing. It's cleansing the dust of the heart, of the consciousness, chaita. So, the purification, you cleanse the dust and you could see clearly. If you have a mirror and you're looking at the mirror and the mirror is all dusty, you can't see it, but once you start cleaning it, then you see, oh no, there's my ugly face in the mirror. Time to change it up, So, if we're really endeavoring to take up devotional service with our whole being, then purification will be there. But the point is that purification seems bitter only because we drag our feet and we're resistant to surrender to Krishna. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he wrote a short book, Manashiksha, as 12 instructions to the mind. Mana means mind, Shiksha means instruction. It's his book where he's praying to his mind, he's instructing his mind, which is less of him instructing his mind and showing us how we should instruct our minds. But in one of the verses he says, O mind, give up bathing in the deceit of caustic donkey urine. I like that's really vivid. Just give up bathing in the caustic donkey urine of deceit, and I'm gonna have to extract from it because I don't know it all verbatim. But the point is that a lot of times we go through things that are tough and we chalk it under this broad term of purification. Oh, that was so purifying. That's purifying. But in actuality, it's only tough because we have this deceitfulness that we're not fully surrendered. We're not fully depending on Krishna. So therefore, we're feeling some kind of burn and pain. We're attached to our false ego, to our selfishness, to our pride, to my glories. The biggest thing that really keeps us in the material world is that I want attention. I want recognition for my activities. I want people to recognize how great I am, how beautiful I am, how much I matter. So this is quite literally what we're practicing, to kill that by rendering selfless devotional service to Krishna, to Guru, by giving to Guru. And in the beginning stages, it may be nearly impossible to completely separate the difference between, our selfish desire and doing service selflessly. But we continue on doing the service in the proper line, as prescribed by the acharyas, and that purification is there because Krishna describes the devotee getting the higher taste. You know the shloka? Very nice. Which number is this? This is 2. I don't know, but if it is, you're Panditji. Anyways, Krishna says that one must get the higher taste. And when one gets this higher taste, then the taste for lesser things, they taste putrid. You don't want it. You know, we may suffer with lust and greed and... No, that's not it. Anyways, we suffer with all these things that afflict us. But if we get actually attached to serving Krishna, you realize there's something much sweeter, and then you don't want all the things that we used to do. And because we're neophytes, we go through waves, up and down, up and down. Sometimes, yeah, devotional service is nice, you know, this is great, it all makes sense. And then a week later, or that day, tomorrow, oh, is this really what I should be doing? You know, I think I could be doing something better with my life. I like meditating, but I mean, come on, this is a little too much. And all these things go through our mind. But we just give more to Krishna, we follow in the footsteps of the Guru, because the Guru is the example of this path, of where it leads and how to follow it and what results come from it. Showing that it is possible to realize that, in fact, you are not your body, you are not your false ego, you are eternal. And you can establish a relationship with God, not, tomorrow, not once you die, you'll go to heaven now. But we just have to be open for it. The devotees, they ask Prabhupada. The devotees ask Prabhupada, how long does it take to surrender to Krishna? You know his answer? What was it? Yes. So we could surrender right now. We just have to declare our dependence upon Krishna and just really take shelter of Krishna. I was thinking, earlier we were talking about some points in the kitchen. And I was thinking, it reminded me ultimately of Lord Chaitanya in the Shikshashtakam, in the last verse. Sashli Shiva Parapatanastu Mamadarshanan Marmahatam Karotu Vayata Tatava Vidyatatu Lambato Mat Prananata Evanapara. Says, my Lord, you're always my Lord, you can handle me rough by your embrace, you can give me darshan, whatever, but reject me or take me. But you're my Lord, birth after birth after birth, I won't give you up. So this is really what this depending upon Krishna is you're my Lord, and I'm going to serve you with all I got, for whatever that's worth, and if you accept me or reject me, I'm still going to continue on with my service. And that way Krishna will feel obliged to actually help you. And this way the devotee conquers Krishna. There's Krishna, Ajita, the supreme unconquerable. He's saying, I'm beyond the fallible, beyond the infallible. He's transcendental to everything. But he's saying that, he's not saying, but he wants to become conquered by the devotee's love and surrender. And this is how we can attract Krishna's mercy. It's said that Sri Krishna Akarshani, which means that Krishna is attracted by devotional service. So our devotional service, Krishna doesn't need our service. What does he need from us? He's giving us service as an opportunity to purify ourselves and render service to the Supreme Person, the source of all existence, Sarvakarna Karanam, for our benefit. For our benefit. From the material perspective, it seems like, oh man, we have to surrender, follow this path and do this, and we don't get anything out of it. But this is completely backwards, because like we don't have anything to offer at all. So by Krishna giving us service, this is supreme mercy upon us. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we're begging Krishna for service. But when the service comes, what do? Are we eager to do the service, or are we reluctant? No, I don't know about this service. Maybe if I had that service, then I'd surrender. It's like, no, we're not the controller. And if you really understand that the nature of the soul is to be active, we need some activity, some engagement. So whatever service Krishna brings our way, it's a blessing. I mean, we have different natures though. So might not always mesh up with the service that is needed, but practically speaking, Krishna brings us opportunities and we should be open, is the point. So that's just a few long-winded thoughts. I just wanted to touch on these texts of chapter 15, because when we were reading them I thought they were really nice, so I won't go into depth, but Krishna is saying that this chapter 15, text 15 is a very famous shloka. Sarvasya chaham hridisani vishto matash mitir ganamapohanam cha vedaischa sarver ahamiva vedyo vedanta kridvedavid eva chaham. Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of Vedas. Krishna is saying, I'm the source of knowledge, I'm the source of the Vedas. I made the Vedas. Of the Vedas is to know me. Whatever knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness you have, it's from me. What did he say before this? He said, I enter into the planets and support them. And the verse after, the one we heard yesterday, he enters into the body as digestion, that digest the four foodstuffs. So Krishna is just giving many examples how that he is actually the support of the whole universe, that we can't see it, but everything is resting upon him. But then, what did he say? He says, there's two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every entity is fallible. In the spiritual world, every entity is called infallible. But he says, besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Lord himself, who has entered into these worlds and is maintaining them. So yes, that's Krishna entering in and supporting everything. But because I am transcendental, both beyond the fallible and the infallible, because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. So Krishna is entering into the world, but he's beyond all these different aspects. He's not constrained by anything. Krishna is great, and everything else is minuscule. So Krishna says, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharat. And the last text, this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, so send this one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So Krishna says he's the compiler of the Vedanta, of the Vedas, he's to be known. And then Krishna says whoever understands this fully, that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, engages himself in full devotional service. So that's what I was talking about, sambandha, proper understanding of life's goal, what life is all about. So when one properly understands that Krishna is the Supreme Person, naturally one will engage himself in what kind of service? Full devotional service. Full. Not a little bit. Full. That's the only way the soul can become actually fully happy. Savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhaktir ho jajay haituki pratihata yatma suprasidati. I heard Magadari speaking on this verse a little bit too earlier. I don't know if you No, but you're saying a haituki. So there's a haituki and a prihata, which means unmotivated and unbroken. So our devotional service needs to be just this, unbroken by time. It's always continuing, unbroken by any material considerations, and unmotivated. That I don't want anything. I want to serve the Lord. I want to please the Lord. There's no material motivation. But also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, what's the sloka? It says, Sarvakama. What's that? No, it's Akama, Sarvakama, Mokshakama, Udaradahi, Tivrena, Bhakti Yogena, Bhakti Purush. I forget the last line. Anyways, Akama, Sarvakama, Va, Mokshakama, Udaradahi. Whether you have all desires, no desires, or you desire liberation, and Bhakti Tivrena Yogena, you should engage in devotional service. Tivrena means like intensely. So whether you have desires in your heart, you still want to do this, you still want to do that, or you approach Krishna, go to Krishna, do it through Krishna, and Krishna will manifest everything that we need in our life. But if you do it through the material energy, it's always just, it's like a puppet show, like shadow puppets, It looks like this nice scene for some time, but there's no substance there. Anyways, I could just keep rambling on all different points and talking. Does anybody have any comments or thoughts or questions? Yes. Define infallible. Infallible is relating to Krishna in the context says there's two living entities, one being fallible, one being infallible. He talks about being in the spiritual world, being infallible, meaning that one doesn't fall down. One's not subjugated to becoming under the influence of the modes of material nature. One doesn't fall down to a pitiable condition, which is described in the next chapter, the 16th chapter, the demoniac natures. So, Krishna is beyond everything. He's both fallible, infallible, and beyond infallible. We can't understand Krishna with the logic of our mind. We don't have the capability. But whatever we can think of, Krishna can do it if he wanted to, or he cannot do it if he doesn't want to. He's the Supreme Person. He's completely free. He's not limited by anything. So even us just thinking about it, we're limited by the faculty of our mind. But Krishna can reveal these intricacies to us, to whoever he chooses to. See, this verse, Sarvasya Chahamriti Sanivishto Mudashmitir Ganamapovanam Cha, Krishna says, I'm the source of knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And then he talks about the Vedas. I put the two connections together. I could read the Vedas my whole life, but never come to the conclusion that Krishna is the point of the Vedas. Why? Because Krishna brings knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So how is Krishna to be known? He says, Bhaktya mam avijanati avanyas-chasmi tatvataha tato mam tatvata gyatva vishiti tadanantaram. Only by devotional service is he known. So everything that we're doing in our life, in Krishna consciousness that is a direct personal relationship with Krishna. And it should grow into a deeper and more fixed meditation that everything we're doing is a direct relationship with Krishna. our studying of the scriptures, our relationship with the Guru, our relationship and dealings with the Vaishnavas, the way that I approach my service and, want to do better, the way I, timeliness for coming to the temple, for serving the deities, cleanliness, all these things. It's all a deep relationship that can develop. So I don't know how I got on this tangent where that's not directly fallible and infallible, but my point is Krishna's beyond in everything, and the only way that we can know him is not through the logic of our faculties, but by Krishna's mercy. Not to say we shouldn't use our intelligence to try to figure things out, but the point is Krishna ultimately is bringing that, and he's beyond everything. So I don't know if that helps at all. Okay, any other final points? Thank you, Vaishnavas, for tolerating me and hearing the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyas Chakripas Nibhi Vachapatitanam Pavanibhi Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah.